All right, guys. So, as you may have noticed, I've been thinking a lot about Diamond Mine Baseball and what I can do in terms of tutorials and different topics to help people out and stuff like that. And there was one thing I was thinking about that I thought I would talk about here quickly. And then suddenly I realized that there's not really an easy way to find it. So I'll show you what I've discovered here. All right. So we go over here to the screen. Here we are. I know it's hard to see. My apologies because there's no way for me to make this bigger on this help file, and in the game itself, it's so old. It would be better probably if I were using like Windows 7 or Windows XP or Windows 95 to play it, but this is the way it is. So here we are in the help file again. What we want to look at today is the offensive tactics. So if we look over here, you can see when you're on offense, you have a choice between swinging away, hitting and running, and then taking the pitch. And that's the thing. The question here, of course, is okay, so what does taking the pitch do? Well, what I'll show you here is that it doesn't tell you much. You can click here for information on offensive tactics, and it tells you what swinging away does, what bunting does. Those are obvious. What the hit and run does, and what stealing does. And that's it. Right? So you have this tactic here. You have this option to take the pitch, and we don't talk anywhere about what taking the pitch does. Like, why? So, yeah, welcome to Confusion Central. Thank you very much, guys. I know that all of this is old. This was probably all written 20 years ago or longer, right? But seriously, I mean, this is kind of a big part of the game because this comes up a lot and I use it a lot, right? So what we have to do is we have to go back down over here to the glossary. And I had to search through the help file. I won't take you through the search to see it. But the only place I could find this was go to the glossary and go to T and then go to take the pitch. There we go. So this is what taking the pitch does in Diamond Mine. Take the pitch. This offensive tactic instructs the batter not to swing at the next pitch. Well, duh. This strategy is often used when there are 3 balls and no strikes in the batter to force the pitcher to throw a strike. It is sometimes used on the first pitch of an at-bat if a pitcher has not thrown strikes to the previous batters, and that's it. So, I mean, I don't know where else to look and what else to find, right? I mean, because everywhere I go, it's like the same thing. I don't know. Is it in other options? No. Well, it's not a base running decision, right? There's all sorts of interesting stuff here that we'll go over later, and try to figure out and try to talk about. We can find what, as we talked about a couple days ago, what pitching around the hitter does, which is interesting. But we can't find anything about what taking the pitch is, right? There's nothing in here about what that means and what this is. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm like totally baffled as to why this wasn't something that somebody that nobody thought like, hey, yeah, maybe we should tell people what it means to take the pitch and when you should and when you shouldn't do this. Now, I do know from what I've read that if you have hitters take the pitch, like every single time at bat or whatever, what will start happening is you'll see hitters actually disobey the orders and swing away instead. So you can't just be like, okay, well, I'm going to take every single pitch and have every guy walk. It is not really something that you can do. Though, admittedly, I've never actually tried that. So, I mean, I think it's possible that, maybe if somebody could come up with, if somebody were like bored enough or something like that, maybe somebody could come up with some sort of, experiment where we take a whole bunch of pitches in some kind of game or some kind of long-term thing and see what difference it makes, right? I'm sure somebody could sort of jerry-rig that if you were really that interested in this. But to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not even sure how interested I am in this. And again, this is because I'm looking at this thinking, I mean, Tom Tippett, you wrote this game. You didn't think of creating documentation on this particular issue. I mean, the thing that just blows my mind is that this isn't a minor thing. It's not like, oh, nobody's going to take the pitch. They can't find this option or whatever, right? I mean, anyway, whatever. I'm probably making a bigger deal out of this than I need to, but I just think it's weird. I think it's totally weird that there's nothing in the help file about it other than it tells the guy to take the pitch. I mean, I don't know. I would like to know more. Anyway, I'll talk with you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.